This story happened to a friend of mine. I'll be telling it from her perspective. I just came out of a relationship and felt like a bit of casual dating would be fun, so I went on Tinder. I made it clear to the few people I actually matched with and spoke to that I didn't want anything serious, just a dinner date or a bar night here and there. I matched with a really cute guy, and let's call him Pete. He had just moved to my city and also wasn't looking for anything serious. The first night, we met up at a well-known bar. I chose this place because I had a few friends that were waitresses and bar staff there, so I felt safe meeting a stranger here. He was on time, we had nice chats, and he actually seemed like a really cool guy on first impression. We spoke about work, to which he responded that he's a software developer. And we spoke about where he stays now, that he's moved up here, and he said that he's sharing a place with some friends, which makes sense because rent is very high in the city. Then he asked me where I live, and I told him that I have my own one-bedroom apartment in a popular part of town, mostly thanks to my parents who helped me out for my 21st birthday. He then offered to drop me off at home, but I said no, I'd prefer to Uber home by myself. He asked if this was because I was going to go meet someone else after him, and I laughed because I genuinely thought it was a joke. If only I knew. The next time I saw Pete was about 3 days later. He said he couldn't stop thinking about me and he wanted to see me again. This time, we met at a different restaurant, one that I chose because I went to school with the owner and knew all the staff pretty well. This place is a little more on the pricey end, and he got super annoyed with me for ordering as much as I did, though I couldn't understand why, since I insisted on paying for my own stuff both times we met. That night, he asked to drive me home again. Again, I said no. Later, while we were in the middle of conversation, he gets a call. He stepped away, but I could still hear a fair amount.
No, I think I'm gonna stay with you again. Yeah, I'm with her. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'll be home soon.
I thought he was chatting to his roommate, or maybe his mom, but I didn't ask. He came back to our table insisting,
Please, bad things happen to women that Uber home this late by themselves. I'd feel better if I dropped you off.
Not having the energy to argue, I tell him fine, and I put my address into his GPS and let him take me home. Thankfully, when we get to my building, he doesn't try to make a move and come up to my apartment or anything. But as soon as he got home, he messages me and tells me he'll be picking me up in the morning to go for a picnic. I reply that I actually have some cleaning to do, but again, he insists that he'll see me at 10 a.m. Come 10 a.m. that next morning, best believe he's right outside of my apartment. I get into his car, and as he leans over to kiss my cheek, I notice that his breath smells awful. Obviously, I'm a little grossed out. We have our picnic, and it's actually quite nice, but he tried to kiss me a few times, and I had to avoid it with everything in me. By about 4 p.m., I tell him that I really want to go home, and the park we went to is about an hour-and-a-half drive from my apartment, so I couldn't really Uber back home because it would cost a fortune. He agrees it's time to go, so we get in his car, and thankfully we're off. I fell asleep in the car on the drive back, but when I woke up, he asked if we should finish the rest of the champagne up at my apartment. I said to him, "No, I don't want to." And then, he just snapped. He raised his voice at me and said something along the lines of,
What are you hiding from me? Just be honest. Why are you so desperate to keep me out of your apartment?
I was so confused, I actually just kept quiet. And then he dropped me off, but I could see his car across from my apartment for about half an hour before he actually left. About 5 minutes after he left, he let me know that he's home safe and he thinks he's starting to fall for me. So naturally, I'm freaked out because I made it clear that I didn't want anything serious, and he said he felt the same at the time. I said to him, if that's the case, I think we should take a break from hanging out with each other. Then, about 5 days later, he messaged me and asks if we can go for dinner again. Apparently he found a nice Indian cuisine place that he knows I'll love. Wanting to give him another chance, I tell him it's cool and he should just send me the address. But he tells me that he'll pick me up. So 7 p.m. comes and he tells me he's downstairs, and as I go down to meet him, I see he's standing at my gate. I pressed the remote control to open the gate, and he walked inside to meet me.
Show me which one is yours. I'd love to see how you live.
Not hi, not how are you. That's his opening line. So now I'm naturally unsettled. Trying to placate this weirdness, I tell him I'm starving. Could we go for dinner and I'll show you my place at another time? Thankfully, he agreed. At dinner, he gets a call again. This time, he didn't step away.
Yeah, I don't know. I can let you know by about 10.
He then turned to me.
Am I sleeping by you tonight?
I responded, I don't know. I have work tomorrow. He responded,
Yes, me too.
then turned back to the caller.
I'll let you know, okay?
I heard the person on the other end say,
No, you're not. Can you just get your things, please?
Pete responded with,
And do what with them?
the caller said.
Take them to that girl you're seeing. I'm done asking you.
Now I'm sat there in absolute shock and terror. What was going on here? Our food arrived and we barely speak. I say to him, Why did you ask me if you can sleep over by me? We're not spending time together like that, you know this. He then spins a story about how he just wants to hang out and see how I live. I tell him, very frankly, that I don't like having strangers in my apartment. I could tell this annoyed him, and then the bill arrived. As per usual, I pay for myself. I say to him, I'll get an Uber home. And he says,
What's the use? I already know where you live. Let me drop you off.
By now, I've already decided that this will be the last time I see him. But I get into his car and I reach for my jumper that I threw in the back when he fetched me. I notice a bag in the back of the car, full of clothes and toiletries, as well as a pillow. But I don't think much of it. I don't personally drive or own a car, but I know my sister always has the most random stuff on the backseat of her car. On the way home, he's dead quiet. Then suddenly he said,
Do you know how selfish you are? I've had no issue driving you around, but you don't want me to sleep over by you?
I was stunned. I say to him, I've never had an issue with Ubering, and if he's so offended, I also have no issue with paying him what the Uber would have cost me. At this point, I'm completely over it, and I'm not even playing nice anymore. Then his phone rang again. The caller said,
Your stuff is at the security boom at the gate, Pete. Stay with your girlfriend or stay with your mom. You're messed up for taking advantage of everyone like this.
Pete responded with,
I don't speak to my mom, you know that.
and then he hung up. Before I even had a chance to process what happened, he turned to me and started yelling and cursing at me.
I have nowhere to go. Are you happy? You spoiled brat living off mommy and daddy's money, getting driven around by me like I work for you?
My whole body got stiff with fear. I wasn't sure if I was gonna cry or throw up, but in my head I was just planning I was gonna grab my bag the second he stopped and run straight to the cafe under my apartment. There wasn't any time to find my keys in my bag, and I didn't want to go to the main gate I normally use to open wide enough for him to get in when I go in. He stopped at my apartment, and as planned, I jump out, run into the cafe, run out the back through the little gate up to the second floor, and I hammered on a neighbor's door. I went inside and told her and her husband everything that happened and asked if they wouldn't mind calling the cafe to explain why I ran through with no explanation and in such a state. I blocked Pete after that, and I haven't seen him since. I'm still not sure what his case was, but from what I gathered, he was basically homeless, and I think he wanted to get into my apartment to maybe sleep over there for a while. I'm still not sure if the girl that kept calling him was also a Tinder date that let him into her apartment and he just never left. All I know is that he scared the living daylights out of me, and I never want to see him again. A few years ago, I was on a dating site where I matched with a police officer. Thought his dog was cute and figured this was my opportunity to finally pet a canine police dog. But I was quickly disinterested after listening to him complain about his recent divorce. I don't recall specific details, but I remember it was very clear he was the problematic person in that relationship. I was also really grossed out by how he fetishized me for my body, tattoos, and colorful hair. I was very upfront and told him I wasn't interested and that he was setting off some red flags for me. He begged me to give him a chance, but I said no and blocked his number. A few days later, I get a knock on my door at around midnight. I wasn't expecting any visitors. I look out of my peephole and see a stranger holding food. It's a DoorDash delivery driver. I tell him through the door I didn't order food, but he said someone else ordered it and he knew my name. I asked who ordered it and he said a man's name I didn't recognize. I tell him I don't want the food and I give him directions to the dumpster to throw the food out because at this point I have no idea if he actually is from DoorDash. Later that night, I'm going through my dating app matches and realize it was the cop's name. I go through my blocked messages and this guy had texted me a lot. The last message read, "I hope you liked your dinner." I decided it best I unblock this guy so I can at least keep an eye on what he's saying in case I need to be worried about my safety. A few weeks later, I'm at work and I get a call from a number I don't recognize. I answer because I assume it's a new client. The voice on the other line says,
Hey Rachel, I'm at Starbucks across the street. What's your drink order?
I ask, Who is this? I don't have you in my appointment book. Assuming it's a regular and I made a scheduling error. He says his name, and it's the cop. My heart sank. How did he know where I worked? I confront him about it, and he explains that he did a reverse image search on photos from my dating profile, found my social media from there and my Yelp page from my salon, then looked up my address from there. I tell him I'm calling his police station and reporting him for stalking, and if he ever comes near me, I will consider it a threat and will be ready to defend myself. After all that, he still begs me to give him a chance, but I just hang up and call the police station he works for and complain. They were less than helpful. They wouldn't even let me email screenshots of my creepy texts. I could tell nothing would be done. The lady literally said,
Oh, I'm sorry. He's going through a lot right now.
They treated it like he was the victim, not me. It still makes my blood boil. He mostly left me alone after that, but I was so scared living alone for the first time in my life. I have a semi-popular meme page on Instagram with about 8,000 followers. I sifted through and found like 5 of his accounts. I blocked them and moved on. This was several years ago, but all these memories came flooding back when I noticed a familiar photo on an account who commented on one of my posts. I must have missed one of his accounts when blocking. I had posted a photo of me holding 2 big tunas I caught on a fishing trip, and he commented, God, I wish I was one of those fish. I'd love to know what it's like to be held by you. I use Tinder pretty frequently, and it's usually cool. Just meeting people, chilling, smoking with them maybe. One night, I matched with this guy named Charlie, and he seems cool. He's really cute, and he plays music, which is really appealing to me, as I also sing and play piano. We talk for a little while, and I agree to meet him at his house. Mistake number 1. Why did I think it was a good idea to meet a stranger in their own home? I don't drive, so I take an Uber over, and it's a decent way away, so it's kind of pricey. When he buzzes me into the apartment complex, I get this really creepy vibe, but I shook it off as nerves. I go up to the 3rd floor, and he's standing at the door. Things went fine at first. We were just relaxing, we smoked a bit, and we were watching a movie. Then, he made a move on me, and I just went with it. We end up on the bed, and we're obviously engaging in adult activities when out of nowhere, he wraps his hand around my neck. Hard. Now, that's all fine and good with me usually. I mean, I can dig that in the right setting, but alone in a stranger's house when he didn't even check to see if it was cool is not one of those settings. So I literally can't breathe, and I'm fairly certain I'm turning blue at this point, and he is just relentless. Not only is he asphyxiating me, he's now yelling in my face,
Are you scared?
with this wild look in his eyes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm scared. You're trying to kill me right now. I started to struggle, and he was gripping even harder. I'm not even kidding you guys, I seriously thought I was gonna die. By some miracle, I managed to wriggle out of his grasp and immediately started screaming. He's yelling at me to calm down, and I'm frantically trying to put my clothes on. He grabs my wrist as I'm trying to leave, and I use all my strength to pull away and slam the door. As it was closing, I heard a string of curse words aimed in my direction. When I got home, I looked in the mirror, and I had hella bruises on my neck. Tried to cover it up with makeup to no avail. I straight up looked like I was almost strangled to death. Thankfully though, he didn't know where I lived, so nothing happened after that. I blocked him and reported him on Tinder. I wish I could have done more because I seriously think he would have killed me. I was debating on going to the police, but the bruises are gone now, and it's a he said, she said kind of thing. But I'm really starting to wonder if I should have, because the next girl might not be so lucky.